I went to a name randomizer, and they came up with the names Juan Seifel and Tom. The second being a completely ridiculous name. So we have an economy, and we have only two goods. We have apples and fish. And Juan Seifel has an absolute advantage in both. He is a great fisherman. He catches fish like nobody else. And he is a great appleman, I guess we'd have to say. He can catch apples. All day long, he can catch apples. So let's say that Tom were to specialize in only apples. He could gather 50. Or only fish, he could catch 50. So if all day long he catches apples, it's 50. All day long he catches fish, and he gets 50. In the same time, however, Juan Seifel could gather either 100 apples or 200 fish. He is like a god. He's great at everything. Best fisherman and best apple gatherer ever. So you might think, why would Juan Seifel want to cooperate with Tom? Tom is useless. Or to use a technical word from economics, he is a loser. Right? So why would Juan Seifel want to hang around with a complete loser like Tom? He can't catch apples very well, he can't catch fish. Well, let's think about it. Let's say that they're living in isolation. There's a river between them. And they produce in total isolation. During that time, each of them, by the way, have loving mothers who tell them they should have a balanced diet. Some apples, some fish, not just apples, not just fish, but a good balanced diet. So they spend half of their time on one and half on the other. What will Tom get? 25 fish, half of his maximum fish production, and 25 apples. Right? Because remember, he could get 50 if he spent all day on this, or 50 on this. But he listens to his mother. Balanced diet. Juan Seifel the same way. Half the day he catches fish, half the day he's up in the apple tree chasing apples. Now, they do this for a while, and they're producing in isolation. Juan Seifel is not only better at everything, he's smarter. He says, he proposes a trade. He is one of those clever Asiatics that economic nationalists in America warn us about. So those Asians are very smart. They will come and propose trades to you. Which, if you listen to economic nationalists like Lou Dobbs, you ever watch CNN? Anyone to watch CNN on the cable? He's a very popular American television figure, and possibly the most ignorant figure ever to appear on television. And he's a total isolationist and protectionist. And he keeps saying, the Asians, they make all that stuff, and then they send it to us. Some of us think, that sounds okay to me. I don't see what the problem is. He tells us we should not trust them. So Juan Seifel is one of those clever people from Southeast Asia. And he says, Tom, can you make a trade? If you give me 25 fish, I'll give you 37 apples. He's not very good with numbers. But he says, Juan Seifel looks like a nice man. I'll trust him. So let's see what happens. Well, they produce. Tom specializes in fish. So he spends all the day on fish and no time on apples. Right? So you remember the mathematical ratios, everything, simple arithmetic. Juan Seifel decreases his fishing activities by 50%. So he goes from 50 to 25. He increases his appling activities by 50%. He goes from 100 to 150. Right? Numerical ratios are constant. They meet and they trade. Watch the outcome. Tom took 25 of his fish and transferred them to Juan Seifel. leaving him with 25 fish. 50 minus 25 is 25, same as before trade. Juan Seifel went from 25 fish up to 50, same as before trade. But now Juan Seifel took, of his 150 apples, 37 over to Tom. Tom now has 37 apples, which is 12 more than he had under isolation, under protectionism, if you will. Juan Seifel has 113. That's 13 more than he had when he produced in isolation. So Tom and Juan Seifel can now consume more than they can produce because they engaged in specialization based on comparative advantage and trade. So there are mutual gains from trade. This is a positive sum game also. It's a variable sum game. Both of them have benefited. And you'll notice, very importantly, that the weaker party also benefited. It wasn't just the rich got richer. Juan Seifel was richer than Tom at the beginning. It's true Juan Seifel got richer, but Tom, the poorer person, got richer as well. Now, why is this? You might think of this is strange. This can't be right. There's some hidden wires someplace, mirrors. Right? The arithmetic is very simple. Why does it work out this way? We're so focused on absolute advantage, it's sometimes hard to see comparative advantage. And specifically, despite the fact that Tom is less productive in absolute terms of everything than Juan Seifel, he is nonetheless the lowest cost producer of fish. Remember, for every fish that Juan Seifel caught, he had to give up 2 apples. For every fish that Tom catches, he gives up 1 apple. Tom is a low-cost fisherman. The cost of a fish is 1 apple. The cost of a fish to Juan Seifel is 2 apples. So Tom is still the lower cost producer by specializing in his comparative advantage, and Juan Seifel specializing in his. The outcome is greater for both. They both benefit from this act of trade. Now sometimes people get upset when you hear lower cost. They say, business people are always talking about costs. What bastards. It's bad people. They're always focused on costs. What does cost mean? They think again about money, but as Doug pointed out, money isn't just about money. When I save money, if I lower costs, I save money. What does it mean, I save money? I have a room full of gold coins now? Is that what life is about? Instead, it means I can do more things. I give less up to acquire something. So anytime we think about a company, a capitalist, an enterprise, an entrepreneur, they lower costs of production, what it means is they can produce what they were producing before at less cost, which means they give up less. So that means there's resources now available to do other things.